What is up, Evil Dead fans? In this video, we're going to talk about some of the props that we used for the last two episodes of Brett's Groovy Chainsaw's Rest in Peace series. And we're even going to show off the ultimate Kandarian dagger. So, let's check them out. So the first thing I'm going to show you guys is Boss's hands right here. Now these are like $8 Amazon rubber hands, which I filled full of toilet paper and glue, added a rod into it, and stuffed it with toilet paper and glue. That's all toilet paper and glue. It's kind of falling apart because it got wet. These are fingernails that you buy at Walmart and actually shaved them down to be sharp. Same thing with this one, built the same way. Inside of that is toilet paper and glue. And you might be asking yourself, why do these have sharp fingers when Boss's roll didn't have sharp fingers? Now, what happened was the character Brett cut off his arm. The rest of his body turned into goo after the dagger attack. So this kind of turned into its own entity, its own monster, since this wasn't connected to the body of Boss whenever the dagger got stuck in the Boss. So that's why these ones have sharp fingers, and why when you see Boss or Rufus Williams, who played Boss, he doesn't have these fingers. So that's the reason why. But yes, this didn't cost me much to make. I'd say $8 a piece, had everything else here in-house. So this is the one that was in the vise. This is the one I struggled with and held up, and it's kind of falling apart because it got wet, but these are those props. Moving on. This is what we call fuckface. Now, fuckface, this was originally supposed to be Paris's head. It was supposed to burst out of his body in some kind of role, some kind of line where he was supposed to say, after the meltdown, it was supposed to pop through and he was supposed to say, oh, you're talking about a harness, and it was supposed to get stabbed to the mouth. Now this is just a foam head, and before the teeth were added, the reason why we call it fuckface is because before the teeth, it looked like something that you would buy at a porn shop or order online for gross reasons. So that's why it's called fuckface. But it ended up looking more like me, and also talking to somebody about the possibility of me dying. It switched from that to me becoming this. Somebody asked me if this is a mold for my head. It actually isn't. This was all taken off down here and added with toilet paper and glue, fake teeth. Of course, the shot through the back. This thing is super sticky. And it was supposed to represent like the Marvel zombies. So it's very much like what we call also the Deadpool Deadite look. But it is just a regular foam head, as you can see. Very sticky still to this day. Next, of course, is the ultimate Kandarian dagger. Now, this design came from the minds of myself and Ryan Lewis. We came up with an idea of making an ultimate dagger, which became part of the script for the last episode. So it originally wasn't in there. Originally, the last two episodes were going to be very simple, but with everybody's input, such as Paul and Jordan and Rufus, it became much, much bigger, and I'm very, very happy it did. So you can see it's very much an Evil Dead 2, Evil Dead 1 look. There's more teeth added. That was an idea from Ryan. You have the Ash vs. Evil Dead dagger right there, which I sculpted out of milliput. Has the kit bones. You can see right here how the whole reptilian look goes into the body and kind of works its way into it. And how the blade is steel, and you have the bone that grows into it. And that was Ryan Lewis's idea as well. Also with this dagger, you can see there's inscriptions grinded into the metal. That is from the page from Evil Dead 1 and Evil Dead 2 that Tom Sullivan drew, the different weapons. So all of these different inscriptions are from that page. It is missing a few bones that the Evil Dead 1 and Evil Dead 2 had to make room for a better look, because I didn't want it super fat. But you can see, still got the ribs on the side. Again, more teeth. And that was Ryan's idea. This gnarly look back here, this was my idea. I wanted to make it kind of like a cobra look. but after really looking into it and making it super wide, it just didn't work. So I added these little areas back in here, these kind of brownish sienna areas back here. And it's surrounded by teeth all the way around to kind of give it a Cobra look. Also the teeth on top, that was something that I added to the rib cage. And putting this bone up top was a new look. It's got very much the Evil Dead 1 style head right here. The thing is, you can see the mouth is a little more open than like the Evil Dead 1 and Evil Dead 2. This is fully open on this one. The Evil Dead 1, Evil Dead 2 is just slightly closed a little bit. Not a big detail. A lot of people won't, a lot of people won't catch that. Also, this bone back here, I heated it up and bent it so it worked well going into the Ash vs. Evil Dead dagger head. Now, these eyes right here should be closer together, but I wanted to give it a wide look. So I added more of a clean look to it, especially to the scales in the front and the back, because on the Ash vs. Evil Dead, they didn't have scales back here. And they gave it like an old kind of beat up look to where the scales weren't prominent, and I wanted prominent scales. It was originally painted gold and then added with some black to really kind of stand out instead of just a yellow color. The length of this is the same as the original Evil Dead 2. The blade isn't quite as long because this head takes up a little bit of area, so there's about 1 inch to 1.5 inches difference on blade length, but the total length is the same as the original Evil Dead 2. But let's take a look at it right here. Now let's turn it around. Here's this look right here. You can see the body is twisting with this head, which is a cool look. Another thing Ryan suggested and we did is sculpted in the mean eye look, not just the regular kit look. It needs to look mean. So this thing went through the ringer. It actually broke a couple places. One of these little rip things broke off of here during shooting. And here is the shot of that. Also, a couple of little riblet pieces broke in there, but that's not even noticeable. But yeah, this thing got wet, it got sticky, it got gross. Everything that was sculpted is out of Milliput. Of course, the 1970s kit. And really love this thing. And if anybody ever wants to scan this thing that will ever be at my house, they can scan it. I really don't mind if they scan it, because it is a very, very cool piece. And some people have asked me, Brett, how did you make the blood come out of the mouth? So that scene with Rufus, he wasn't actually here. We had to make a dummy body, and I'll show you that in a minute. And because it's still sitting over there. As you can see, it was filled full of trash bags and stuffing, and there's the hose that went all the way up here. It's that was the end of it. So it come through here and it stick through somewhere up there. We had to make a dummy body. It just needed something extra. Everybody was gone, and all I did was used strawberry syrup, and it would load up the mouth. And then before shooting, because I had to start the camera, I had to do the lighting and set up the blood squirting out all by myself, because of course everybody went home. We thought we were all done, but of course there's always some post scenes we have to do to make it, a better film than originally what we thought. And again, with those guys here, they did an amazing job of making it better than originally it should have been. So thank you again, guys. But I would load it up and I'd hold it like this. I'd load up the hose full of the blood, push action, and then I would just tip it over like this, and then it would just come running out. That's all I did, was just load it up. So if you're doing a Kandarian dagger and you don't want the hose with it, just make sure you don't make the mouth like full of stuff. Make sure it's still deep, but definitely close it up, because if you don't close it up, then it all gets stuck inside of there. inside the body. So you see how deep that is right there. And there it is. The Ultimate Kandari Dagger from episode 8. And again, I want to thank everybody that worked on this project. Jordan, Rufus, Paul, Paris, Mrs. Groovy, Jesse, and if I left anybody out, I'm very, very, very sorry. That made it as good as it could possibly be. With that being said, some of these props I'm going to have available if somebody wants them. Of course, the hands and stuff, they're going to Rufus because those are Rufus's hands. But old Fuckface is available. Unfortunately, the dagger is not. This will stay with me because I love it. And if I ever get rid of it, Ryan already claimed it. He already said, oh man, if you get rid of that. And I want to thank Ryan. Forgot to thank Ryan. Sorry about that, Ryan. He's like, yeah, that's mine if you ever get rid of it. So yeah, it's definitely his. Another thing, you can look underneath the neck here. There's actually a bone that goes to the head. Kind of hard to see. If you guys want me to do shots later, close-ups of this, I can definitely do that. But yeah. And let me tell you about next season real quick. So will there be a next season? Will there be a season 2? Yes, there will be a season 2. It will start off in early spring. The shooting for the last 2 episodes will happen in June. So we'll come around a little sooner. The story has already been made. The scripts have been already started, especially for the last 2 episodes. And if you're a big fan of Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness, you're really gonna love season 2. Now, season 1 became very much an Evil Dead 1, Evil Dead 2, and I'm very grateful for that. With the help of those guys, I got to be in an Evil Dead 1, Evil Dead 2 inspired film, in a way. And that's all I've ever wanted. But with this next one, new heroes will show up, new stories will happen, a lot of new characters will pop up, and a huge, huge fight will happen. We already agreed. We're going bigger, we're going better, and I want you guys to stay tuned for that. So until next time, you guys stay groovy.